Hey all, Lawrence from Express Unity, and today I just wanted to talk about a personal project that I've been working on. Now, I kind of wanted to have a go at making an MMORPG for a while now, but kind of only just decided to do it maybe a few weeks ago. So this is going to be my first attempt ever at making an MMORPG, and I kind of just wanted to take you guys through the journey with me. I'm probably going to be posting maybe weekly or fortnightly devlogs or rants. Basically, these videos are just going to be me talking about the game, and maybe other aspects of it. Might not be so much of what I've done, maybe it'll just be me talking. But yeah, regardless, hopefully you guys will enjoy this kind of content. I know I have a lot of fun talking about my creations, and I love sharing stuff with you guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Now, the first big thing is basically I'm not using Photon for the networking side of this game. So, I think it was maybe a month or two ago, a friend of mine directed me towards a networking solution called TNet. Now, at the time I wasn't really interested in it because I had Photon, but I think I finally decided to just have a crack at it. It is $95. I can't remember if that's in USD or if it's been converted to AUD for me. It could be in USD. But I have to say, from my current experience in using it for the last 2 weeks, it is very, very good. I'm not saying it's better than Photon. I'm not saying Photon's better than this. They both have their cons and they both have their pros. So basically, the first pro of this is you have no CCU limit. Basically, your limit is whatever limit your hardware can handle. So yes, I have purchased my own VPS to host this. I think it's around $10 a month, and I believe the specs on my VPS could handle around 300 to 500 concurrent users, though because no one's really tested the game, it's just been me, that hasn't been anywhere near close to being tested. But I do hope to test that out somewhere in the future. If I could end up getting at least 300 people playing the game, that would be the dream. But we have server content delivery system as well. Now this is something that I still need to look into. Haven't personally used it before. And then after that, we have the save/load functionality. Now this is huge. I've been using it basically where I can, wherever I want to save data. It's an MMORPG. Data needs to be saved around the clock. So this is so much better than using PlayFab for saving things. Reason being is because PlayFab is hosted online and it's a web panel and it's got all this web API and stuff. You always need to wait for a call with PlayFab before it can continue doing any of that code execution. Whereas, because this is on the server, it's practically instant. The only speed reduction there would be is if you're extremely laggy, then this saving/load functionality will also be slowed down. Another thing it has is modding support, though I haven't done any modding of the server or anything just yet. Though it does come with its own kind of mini admin system for you to kick, ban, and unban players from the server. It also has an option for you to make others admin depending on their IP. So it's actually pretty cool, a nice start. Excuse me. Alright, so basically what I've done is started on this MMO, and at the moment it's got a login, you join the server, it creates your account, and then it's got a few other little things here and there. Started working on a quest system. It's nowhere near completed, but it is functioning, at least the start of it is functioning. So if I just run the game, before I actually go in, I will show you the server. So this is my VPS. Currently the VPS is hosted in the US and I'm in Australia, so There is some lag on my end. But currently there is no data here outside of what these server files are required to run the server. So if I just log in with one of my test accounts, we will then get to the main menu, and basically this is the master server screen, which tells us what server is currently online or offline. Currently this is hard-coded, but what I plan to do is actually use Photon to be able to add in maybe the IP addresses, or basically tell the game what server is currently offline, or maybe have a little message saying it's in maintenance or something like that. But at the moment this is hard-coded because I only have one server and there's no real need for me to do anything else with this. So if I just click join on this and we go over here, you should see that the editor has now joined the server and we are connected with the ID of 8. One thing that you should note, that these IDs never get reset. So after a while you're going to have a lot of IDs accumulated on the server, and sadly the only, at least I think so far, the only real way to reduce the IDs is simply close the server application and run it again. So maybe every 2 weeks or so you might want to have like a server, if you do run with TNet, you might want to have like a server maintenance day where you just have a quick look at the server, make sure everything's running, close the server, open it back up, and everything's good to go. I mean, that's what most MMOs do anyway, so no different to making an MMO here. Alrighty, so when we join the server, we get greeted with this create your cube screen. And so I'm just gonna name my guy as test, and he's gonna be a mage, not an assassin. So if we create, we are now joined into the server. We can walk around. A friend of mine kindly helped me with this cool little code here. Basically, since everything's going to be super low poly, I didn't want the players to be overhanging on things that are flat or on terrain, so all I've done is make it so the players actually end up aligning themselves with the face of the terrain. So if I go up here, you'll see that the camera tilts and the player tilts to make it look like I am going up that hill. Alrighty, so if I just go and close out and we go to the server, you'll see that there is a new folder created called players. And this is the data that we have just made by joining the server and quitting it. Now, one thing that I should note is the server has a nice little safety feature, and I believe it automatically saves all the players every so often. I think you can change the rate at which it saves. I'm not too sure how long between each save it does, but I do know that it saves every now and then. Otherwise, when a player disconnects, it will also save all their data back into the server. So if we open this up, you'll see we have a few things. One, we have our display name, currently test, and our class type, which is mage. We also have this one called playtime, and I think that's an inbuilt thing that basically you can get, and it tells you how long that player has been playing the server for universally. So basically, how from day one that player has joined, they've accumulated time, and you can get that time there. So you could potentially use that time as a reward system. So maybe if they played for an hour, give them something. If they played for a week, give them something. If they played for a month, give them something super legendary. I don't know, that's up to your creativity. Alrighty, so one super cool thing that we can do is save an array, and that array is basically our inventory. So right now there's no real UI showing the saving or loading of items. It kind of just happens in the back. I haven't really done anything to show it happen. But if we go into the server data file once we spawn in, we should be able to see something. So this little guy here is the start of my quest system. Currently, no real storyline, just says please collect 5 cube fragments and return them to me. If we click accept, it'll say collect 5 cube cube fragments, and that's all it does at the moment. There is a few things that happen in the back end, but really we can't see them because there's no UI for them just yet. But eventually I'm going to have a little thing in the corner that says how many we got to collect, and then if we click make primary, it'll basically switch the message to whatever mission you want to do. And then we can also drop quests. At the moment these two buttons do nothing, as I'm still in the process of coding the quest system. Now, if we go to these cube fragments over here that I've just placed onto the ground, and we just pick a few of them up. I think that was 5 that we picked up, and we go back to our VPS after exiting. You'll see that our file has increased in size, and if we open it up, we now have an owned items area which contains 1, 2, 3, 4 cube fragments. So that is super awesome. Now I can have these are basically in my inventory. I can get them and do whatever I want with them when I join back. So I kind of just wanted to show you guys how this all works. So I have my player data script here, and super simple really. Basically we want to inherit from tnet, and we want to be using tnet and then inherit from the tn behavior, and that gives us access to a whole lot of fancy things. So first off, we want to have a call to our onset player data, so we want to set it there, and then we want to remove it on disable. So how we set our data, basically it's so simple. So all I've got for this test set that I'm showing you guys is I've got gold, silver, and copper, which in the end is going to be the actual currency for the game. Excuse me. And then we got our public variables here for it, gold, silver, and copper. And all we do is we want to set the gold, silver, and copper equal to those values. It's basically the same as player prefs if any of you have ever used them. And then we basically just increment gold. And what happens then is the onset player gets called, and all we do here is we say if P, which is the current player that's getting passed through this, is equal to tno.owner, and that is basically the same as saying for photon anyway, photon view.isMine. So this is basically getting the local player. If it is the local player, then we want to set the properties, and setting the properties, all we do is we say P, which is the player, dot get, and then the type that we have. After the type, we basically tell it what it's looking for. So in this case, we have gold, silver, and copper. Now, something I found that was super cool with this is that if you're a brand new player and you have no data set, you don't even need to be brand new. You might not just have them. But if you're a brand new player, what will happen is you can actually assign a default value to these. So if it can't find gold, silver, or copper, it'll assign these variables instead. So for example, if we have no gold, let's just assume that if you have no gold, you're a new player. Instead, we can say that the default value is 100, so that if you are a new player, you automatically get 100 gold. This can be the same for our owned items. So this one here, currently it's a tnet list, which it says that it results in better performance, which is why I'm using it. Otherwise I would have just used a normal list. I kind of just stumbled across it and it seems to be working fine. But basically it's a list of strings with our current item names, and we can assign, at the moment I'm just assigning a new list if it can't find any owned items. But technically what we can do is we can assign a new list that contains a few items. So if you're a new player, you might get a basic sword, a basic helmet, I don't know, whatever your game really needs. So I'll quickly show you guys this. I haven't pressed spacebar yet, so if we join in and oops. internet's been going a bit slow lately, so this full speed isn't really normal. Alrighty. So we have spawned in. If we click on the our player, which is the mage, you also notice that everything networked is actually in the don't destroy on load, which is normal for TNet. But as you can see, our player data contains gold, which is 0, silver, and copper, all set to 0. And if we press spacebar, we can see that gold increments. So let's maybe increment gold to 15. If we exit, that has now saved into our player file on the server. And if we join back and click on that same player, you will actually see that, come on, let's do it. There it is. You will see that we spawn back with 15 gold. So that is awesome. If we actually go back to the VPS as well and double click on our data file, you'll also see that we now have some new things. We have gold, silver, and copper. So that is absolutely fantastic. So there is one last thing I wanted to share with you guys. And again, my internet is going horrible. So hopefully this ends up looking somewhat nice. But basically just gonna load in 2 players into the server and show you something interesting. Alrighty. So we're just loading with our guy that already has an account and someone that doesn't have an account. Alright, so you will notice something interesting. If we join with this character that doesn't have an account and we go into the character creation window, there it is, and then we join with this one, you'll actually see the player spawn in the background. There it is. And again, it's lagging because my internet is doing something weird today. But you can see that that player fell in the background. And one thing with TNet, in order to get the player data, is you actually need to be connected to the server. So what I've done is ended up making a ghost player. So when you click that join server button for the master server, everyone gets instantiated into the game using a ghost player, and all that ghost player is an empty game object that contains a few scripts that handles this UI here. Basically, if you have some data, if you don't have any data, basically it'll show this window. If you do have data, it knows that you currently have a character slot in the server, and it'll remove this UI and spawn you in using the data that it has found. So let's make up some username here, and I think we will match here, so let's be the assassin on this one. So there we are. Again, my internet is having some real bad times, but you can see that I've gotten the name tags to synchronize across player. The name tag doesn't actually show up on your local player, but it does for everyone else. And you'll also see we have the name and then the class. So we have mage for the test, and then assassin for test, and then a whole bunch of spam after that. So yeah, it's just pretty awesome. You can also see that everything's synchronized. So if we go over this ramp, we also see the tilt on the other players. And actually one thing that I have not tested yet, just because I haven't had a chance to, and that is just these objects over here. These objects should actually be syncing with everyone. So if I just run across them with the mage, we should see, yep, even though we're lagging quite a bit. Okay, so it seems like it is all working. Yeah, fantastic. Alrighty, so I actually have no idea how long I've been talking for. I've been talking for almost 20 minutes. Hopefully you guys didn't get bored of this. This is basically all that these videos are going to be, just me talking about my game and showing you guys all the little features that I've added. Hopefully you guys enjoy this kind of content. I know I enjoy making this stuff, so hopefully you guys enjoy watching it. And again, I think I should be able to get the survival series out within the next 2 days, hopefully. And one quick disclaimer, which I forgot to add. TNET is not sponsoring me at all. I genuinely think that it is a very nice library for networking. Another thing I will do, if anyone is interested in using TNET and hosting their own VPS, is I will end up putting a referral link to the company I use. And it's not a company I've just found on Google and just purchased something. I've been with this company hosting several personal websites for a while. I think maybe getting close to 4 years now. And they have not failed me yet. So if you guys are looking for a VPS, I'll link my referral link down there. Would appreciate it if you click it. Otherwise, just look up the company name, which I'll also link, have in the description. So yeah, if you guys enjoy the content, please give me a like. That would be awesome. If you guys want to see more, subscribe. Again, we have a Discord server, so if you want to chat with me or get help with any of my other videos, just join the Discord server. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.